Welcome to the Call to Harmony, where we explore the inner journey to oneness with self, others, and the divine.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Call to Harmony. Tucker here, grateful that you're with me today. It's just me. Savannah had something pop up and she couldn't be available for the recording, so we'll look forward to having her next time. And there's something on my mind that I would love to share. And it's one of those things that's a little bit honestly intimidating to share because it feels like I could never quite capture it in words or explain it, but I'll try to point to it and trust that wisdom and the divine will communicate to you better than I could communicate to you. But this week I've been thinking about that there are two kinds of teachers in my life, and I imagine in everybody's life. I would call one group chosen teachers and the other group given teachers. And chosen teachers are those teachers that we want. We would pick to be our instructors, to lead us forward. For me, I'm super passionate about transformation and the transformational path. And so my chosen teachers are those authors, teachers, people from the past, people from like all kinds of different leaders and examples that have transformed and like transcended ego and the things that keep us from transformation, that keep us caught in ourselves and in a bit of a prison. And so my chosen teachers, many authors, I could talk about a long list of authors and teachers that I love and have chosen and that have done good in my life. And I imagine you have teachers coming to your mind right now as I say chosen teachers. Who are those chosen teachers in your life right now that you just trust to lead you forward from where you are? Because you can sense they're in a place beyond where you are, and you trust them to lead you deeper along the transformational or the spiritual path, deeper toward harmony is what we talk about here on this podcast. Who are those trusted teachers in your life? And it's fun to think of these teachers. They inspire me. They motivate me. They make me excited to study, to deepen more. And they show me that there's a promise of getting to a place beyond where I currently am. So these teachers are just a gift. I'm so grateful for these teachers in my life. I mean, I'll throw out a few that are on my mind right now, but Eckhart Tolle has been super impactful to me. Michael Singer, Thich Nhat Hanh, Jesus, for sure. Buddha, Lao Tzu, author of the Tao Te Ching, Cynthia Bourgeois, Richard Rohr. These have been, Thomas McConkie, more local one here. These have been teachers that have been super helpful for me. And I've had many teachers along my way during my life. That's a different list of teachers than I've had at some other times in my life. But throughout my life, I can think back of having chosen teachers that have been so helpful. They were in a place beyond me, and they led me to a place beyond myself. And I'm just grateful for all these chosen teachers along the way. And that list has changed. And it's beautiful that that list changes, right? That life provides the teachers that we need when we need them. I think it's a Zen saying, when the pupil is ready or when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I imagine in your life, just as we're pausing for a moment for this conversation, you're thinking of teachers that have appeared the right time and the right place in your life. And those are our chosen teachers. And there's this other kind of teacher, which we might call our given teachers. Our given teachers maybe aren't our chosen teachers, but they show up and they have some work for us to do in our life. These given teachers maybe aren't invited. Maybe they aren't even people all the time. Sometimes they are. They're individuals in our life that we wouldn't choose to be there. We wouldn't choose to be in our sphere, but they are. And so we might call them given teachers. And they might not even be people, as I said. They might be circumstances or events, a sickness or an illness, a tragedy. They might have something to do with our work or have nothing to do with our work. They might have something to do with family or neighbors but these are teachers that come into our lives that we would probably rather they not teach us. And yet they're providing an opportunity for us to grow, maybe as much or more than our chosen teachers. Our chosen teachers we seek after, we want to find opportunities to learn from them. These given teachers, sometimes it's like, not today, not now. And yet the given teachers are inviting us into a practice. They're inviting us to accept what is in life. They're inviting us to open up, to transform, and to practice love and patience and understanding. They're inviting us to practice the things that we learn from our chosen teachers. And these given teachers, some of these lessons are really hard, challenging, heavy. And yet maybe our given teachers are positioned in a way that they can have greater impact on us sometimes than our chosen teachers, perhaps. So let's get into some examples. I have an uncle, my Uncle Mick, my dad's younger brother, Mick Boyle. And when he was about 26 years old, I think I'm going to get this story right. When he was about 26 years old, Mick was just a fun, vivacious, upbeat guy. He was, I think, in Lincoln, Nebraska. If I've got these details right, I should have reviewed him before this. But Lincoln, Nebraska, he's out there doing an internship. He was in law school, BYU Law School. And he was about to head home after a summer at this internship. And I believe that they were at a park and having a party. And right next to this park, there was a lake. And Mick went to cool off in the lake. And so he went out on this little dock and he went to dive in to the lake. And he had this impression, don't dive in. But he said he just pushed it away. Like, why not? And he dove in and immediately broke his neck because he dove into about a foot of water. And he thought it was much deeper. But I believe it was made shallow so that little kids could play in this area, and he couldn't tell. He dove in, his neck broke. A friend of his saw him floating face down in the water and ran out and pulled him out of the lake. And helicopter came, they called 911, and Mick was paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life. And this happened when I was about 2 years old. So I don't remember the events surrounding it, but I've seen KSL TV did a segment, like a week-long report on Mick Boyle, because it's a long story, but I'll just summarize it. He ends up rallying. It looked like he was going to die, not even live through the night, but he rallied, came back to Salt Lake. He was in the hospital there, and he decided, I'm just going to live my life the best I can, even though I can't move a muscle below my neck. And he ended up graduating from BYU Law School and just overcoming a bunch of trials and difficulties. And there's a lot to his story. But I'll skip a lot of that and just go to this place. So obviously, this was a given teacher for Mick, at least initially, right? Who would ask for something like that? And since Mick passed away when I was about 15 years old, I can only talk of memories. So Mick lived with us for 14 years. But what I remember, my memories of Mick would be going to his house, playing with my cousins, and watching my uncle, who was sitting in a wheelchair, just propped up. He had a little golf ball that was on an electric wheelchair that he could move with his chin to move his wheelchair around. But I remember being a little kid and sitting there by Mick, and he was a jokester. He was so funny. He could get everybody laughing, and he would laugh and sometimes throw his head back laughing while he's sitting in this wheelchair in a situation that just seems like how could you be finding joy in life right now? And even as a kid, I sensed harmony emanating from my uncle. And of course, I wasn't with him all the time there, and I'm sure there were moments that were anything but harmony, right? As we do. But I saw that there were moments where this given teacher, this tragedy, this difficulty, this physical pain, and all the struggles that came to him and those around him from it, he was able to have moments where he chose his given teacher. And the harmony that emanated from that, the beauty that came from taking a given teacher and embracing it and choosing it was something otherworldly. And even as a kid, I could taste something of it. Like, here was my uncle, and I could feel like he was coming from a heavenly place. Maybe that's the word I would give to it. Like, just, it was just heavenly to be around him for me. And that is the power of when we are able to take a given teacher and transform it into a chosen teacher, surrender to the given teacher, and ask, what might change if this given teacher in my life that I wouldn't have chosen can become a chosen teacher? And this is easier said than done, right? To take a given teacher and just be like, okay, you're now my chosen teacher. It's not something that we just say and then it's done. But this type of transformation that can lead us into a space of harmony where we're surrendered to life is something that needs to come from the depths. And it might be something we need to choose over and over. So this example of my Uncle Mick is a big, thunderous example. And oftentimes our given teachers are much more subtle than this, right? Like this morning I was talking to my 16-year-old daughter. We've been talking this week about chosen teachers and given teachers in our lives. And she said she was talking with a friend and that was complaining about their sibling. And she said, I almost brought up to her that we have chosen and given teachers. But then she said, but I think I would have been a hypocrite if I did that. And we laughed together. Isn't that true? I also have a son right now serving an LDS mission in Michigan. And I talked to him about chosen teachers and given teachers. And I asked him who were his chosen teachers. And he named a chosen teacher. And then I asked who's a given teacher. And he said, my companion. And for those of you that know about LDS missions, you don't get to choose your companion who you're serving with, right? And as I look back when I was a missionary, my given teachers, as in my companions that I wouldn't have chosen, those were the places that I grew the most. I definitely would not have chosen at that time in my life. I would not have chosen some of my companions. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful that I didn't choose my companions. I would have chosen easy street. I would have chosen my best friends that I clicked with. And what would I have lost from that experience? In the same way, life is constantly assigning us companions, right? Assigning us given teachers in small ways and large ways. Maybe it's as quick and simple as you're driving down the street and somebody cuts you off. Hey, here's a given teacher. And you might not think of the other driver as the given teacher, but the moment is a given teacher. If we look at life as one of our teachers, life is always bringing up moments. Michael Singer says the highest spiritual path is life itself. Sometimes on my journey, I've thought, oh man, it would be so great to just be a monk and meditate in the mountains all the time. It's kind of ironic because I live in the mountains right now and I do meditate a lot, but I have a family and all of those things, right? And sometimes I want to escape life and escape the given teachers. And I think I would change so much and transform so much if I could just dedicate all my time to it. And there's an author named Gurdjieff or Gurdjieff, depending on how you say it, how he talks about something called the fourth way. The first three ways would be maybe the way of a Muslim fakir, who is somebody who tries to transform through willpower, like physical feats. They might stand on their tiptoes for as long as they can and just ignore the pain of it and transform through that. And that might be called the first way. And then the second way would be a monk who transforms through prayer and working with their emotions. And then the third way would be a yogi who transforms through meditation and working with the mind. This is how Gurdjieff described it. And then he says the fourth way is the way of the human that doesn't go away and isolate themselves from life, but lives normal life and uses normal life as the transformative path. And that stance is to accept life as your teacher and just your current circumstances as your teacher. And for me, that is exciting that my current life, my current circumstances, my current people in my sphere and everything that is right now, this is the best teacher that life could draw up for me. And so every time I get cut off in traffic, or every time somebody makes an unkind comment to me, or every time I'm annoyed, or every feeling that comes up has the potential to be a given teacher. And so at any moment of your life, you can actually pause and notice, hey, what are the given teachers right now? And how can I welcome them in as if they're chosen teachers? So this takes eyes to see. This takes some deep seeing to look at life in this way and see given and chosen teachers all around us. So let's sit with this for a moment. What given teachers are present right now in my life? I'll invite you to think of the same thing. What given teachers are there in your life right now that are here to help us with our transformation? That maybe I'm resisting and my stance is no, I got to change or I've got to get away. My experience is my mind is always telling me stories about how I need to get away from my given teachers. I need to change the circumstance. I need to do something different. I need to find a way to escape. And that's our defense mechanism, right? As humans, we have this part of us that is always trying to help us find comfort. But our given teachers are inviting us to learn through discomfort. So, as you think of your given teachers, and by the way, this list changes too through life. Maybe at times our given teachers are people that used to be our chosen teachers. And because life's circumstances have changed, or because of our movement along the spiritual path or transformational path, someone who used to be our chosen teacher is now a given teacher, or something that used to be a chosen teacher is now a given teacher. And there's something in us that's screaming at us, run away, cut off all ties. And it's understandable. It's part of being human to have that voice in us, trying to seek comfort rather than transformation. But it seems that this life, this earth, this planet that we're a part of, is not well situated for comfort, but it's perfectly situated for transformation. And wherever we go, whatever we do, as much as we try to run from given teachers, new given teachers pop up wherever we go, right? That's part of the grace of all of this, is as much as we try to run away, transformation and the opportunity for transformation finds us and gives us another chance to accept rather than escape. And so today I want to take some moments to bless all the teachers in my life and invite you to join me. I want to bless all those chosen teachers that have been so beautiful in bringing me vision and comfort and motivation and peace. And I want to bless those given teachers that are providing the chances to open up and transform and to even allow pain to do work in me that comfort can't do. So let's take a moment to sit with this. I'll invite you into a practice where we'll sit with the teachers that we've been given and invite ourselves to practice harmony by allowing our given teachers to possibly become our chosen teachers. And that's when we're in a space of harmony, when what is becomes what we choose. What's given becomes what we've chosen. And then we're not resisting life. We're not resisting what is. In fact, as I think of what prayer is to me these days, what prayer is to me is saying, not just saying, but embodying, not my will, but a higher will be done. There is a greater wisdom that brings these given teachers into my life. And my deepest prayer practice that feels most transformative and meaningful and helpful is to sit and trust that higher power. So wherever you are in your journey, you might call that higher power God, the universe, ultimate consciousness, your true self, whatever the higher power is to you, to come into harmony is to trust that higher power and to trust that what is given is what is needed. And that as I choose it and choose to trust that higher power, harmony will come. And something shifts when we're around people that are in harmony. Like something changed for me as a child watching my Uncle Mick. There's a new frequency that comes into the world. There's a new level of consciousness and being and beauty that comes into the world through us when we can give up our resistance and allow the higher power to do its work in the world, in us. And in order to allow that, it takes a little bit of inner work, or maybe a lot of inner work on our part. So with that, let's take some time to settle in and practice with our chosen and given teachers. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes and give your full attention to this, wonderful. If you're not, if you're listening in your car or you're on a walk or something, wherever you are, just invite you to give your attention to this practice for a few minutes while we practice transforming by allowing our given teachers to become our chosen teachers. So take a moment to settle in, get in a posture where you can be alert and awake, and at the same time, completely relaxed. Just notice how your body feels. You might notice any aches or pains that are there, or any just feelings of well-being or pleasure that are in your physical body. Just take a second to remember that you have a body, you're alive, and this body is doing so much to give you these life opportunities. Now let's take a look at our emotional body. What feelings are here right now? So you tune into that emotional body. It's not in order to get rid of feelings or to change anything, but just to allow. In fact, these feelings that arise can be divinely given teachers. And so welcome whatever feelings are there, if you can, as a given teacher to help you in this moment, to become present and to transform. And as you notice those feelings, you might name them. What am I feeling? Where are you feeling it in your body? And just see if you can extend full acceptance and welcome to that feeling. Take a deep breath, deep, slow breath, and just settle in to your physical body, your emotional body. And we're going to turn our attention to the chosen teachers that are currently in our life. And just call up the image of a current chosen teacher that is in your life, that is helping you, blessing you, leading you, giving you hope. Might be somebody that is a close friend, or it might be somebody that you've never met before, but someone that's giving you hope and motivation to move forward. And just picture that person a few feet in front of you. And let's just bless them. You might repeat words like this in your mind. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for the inspiration, the energy, the love that you bring into my life. And just allow yourself to feel their presence and allow them to feel your presence and love flowing toward them. Allow the gratitude to swell and your appreciation to grow for how your life is being and has been enriched by this chosen teacher. And feel free, if you want, to pause the podcast and cycle through some other chosen teachers and practice this. Really deepen your gratitude and awareness and presence with these teachers in your life. And let's pivot to the given teachers. What is a given teacher? Who or what is a given teacher in your life right now that is calling you to presence, calling you to practice acceptance, calling you to stretch and to grow beyond your natural state, calling you to be more than you currently are so that you can accept them or this thing in your life. And if it's a person, picture this person a few feet in front of you. If it's an event or a sickness or a disease or a circumstance or a difficulty, call that up to mind. And you might distill it into a word that's a few feet in front of you, or an event or some symbol that represents this teacher. And let's practice choosing this. See if you can open your heart to presence and acceptance in the same way you did with the chosen teacher. And you may need to seek divine grace in this moment because this can be very challenging. And before we extend that acceptance, maybe let's pause and ask, what gifts are you inviting into my life? What are you helping me learn? If I accepted you and open up to you, what might transform in my life. And notice if there's some opening or softening around this given teacher, so that you can now say to it, thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for the gifts that you're bringing to me. Thank you for the growth, for the transformation that you're calling me into. I welcome you into my life. And I trust that you've been sent to me for a wise purpose. And that I can be better because of the gifts you're bringing and because of the grace that always accompanies the teachers like you that are sent to me. See if something starts to flow through you, like love, acceptance, gratitude. And if not, that's okay. If you still feel resistance, you might even ask, where is this resistance in me? Where am I encountering resistance in my body to this given teacher? And then even offer up that resistance as an offering to something higher. You may even say something like, may this resistance be put on the altar and be part of my transformation. And if you feel sometimes you might feel some discomfort, maybe even a burning sensation of some type as this resistance starts to transform. Trust that transformation, trust that burning to do its work of transforming you. And feel free to sit with this. And this is really deep, challenging work that we're doing. So give yourself some time as you come out of this practice to breathe, to notice your body, to become present with your current outward circumstances, both your given and chosen outward circumstances right now. And bring that same acceptance that you did in the practice with you as you re-engage with the outside world. Maybe you sense an openness in your heart, a willingness to accept whatever comes, to surrender, to live your life consecrated to the will of the higher power. And if you feel any sense of that, you know that this deep work that you've been doing is transforming you. So let's wrap up that practice, and I just want to commend you for that work. It is so human. It is so the way that we are in this life to want to avoid the discomfort, to want to turn away from the given teachers and only listen to the chosen teachers. And as we learn to welcome both chosen and given teachers in our life so that everything that arises is just as if we chose it, we will find increased harmony in our life. So that's my wish for all of us today, that our chosen teachers may be blessed, that our given teachers may be blessed, and as we bless them both, we may be blessed in turn by the grace of harmony in our lives. So thank you for doing this practice with us. Just an invitation as things pop up in your day today. There will be chosen things and there will be given things. It happens every day. And when they pop up, it is an opportunity to just do a practice. You don't have to stop, get on a chair and do a deep practice, but it might be something as simple as, here's a given teacher. Thank you for teaching me. What do you have to teach me now? And with that, we will say goodbye and we'll see you on our next episode. Thanks for being with us on the Call to Harmony.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you will join us next time on the Call to Harmony.